Hey everyone, I'm Hunter Lihas, an actual flight attendant here in the United States, and today I'm going to be reacting to HBO Max's new series, The Flight Attendant. Alright, I am very excited for this series. I honestly do not think I've ever seen a TV show or movie or really anything based off of a flight attendant experience, so that's really exciting. It's always cool to see your profession in a career, especially when your profession is definitely something that's not like the average everyday job. I'm gonna be watching here on my laptop and giving commentary along the way. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm definitely gonna try to point some things out if I think they are realistic or something's like, whoa, wait a minute, we don't do that. Let's see what happens. We're gonna do the pilot episode, episode 1. Let's jump right into it. Okay, right away I'm noticing she's going on an international trip, but she doesn't really have a large suitcase. Not really sure. Usually for like a big trip like that, I would definitely pack a bigger bag, but that's just me. Maybe she's packing light for this trip. That lady's acting like the gate agent, but I think she's also the lead flight attendant. I don't know. Okay, so she landed in Bangkok and she's avoiding the other crew. Nothing out of the ordinary with that. The only thing that I'm noticing though is this like extravagant dress that she's wearing. I'm like, who is packing that in their bag? Correct me if I'm wrong if you're a flight attendant or someone who travels a lot, but I don't really think a lot of flight attendants travel with like a nice formal evening gown like that. Maybe if you know you're going on an international trip and you might be going to a nice dinner, maybe in that case, but typically I don't really think flight attendants pack that kind of like outfits. 9 times out of 10 when I see flight attendants on their layover, it's like sweatpants, jeans, sweatshirt, t-shirt, pajamas. Nothing like that dress that she's wearing, but to each their own. You never know what's in someone's bag. Ugh, the classic vodka that you think is water and you're like, ugh, dying in the morning when you drink that. That is definitely realistic, however, not good when you're a flight attendant because you cannot drink before you're on duty, so she spit it out. So, I mean, I think she should be okay, but definitely you need to be careful about that kind of stuff. Okay, she just discovered his body, and I'm trying to think if I was on a layover and something like that happened, what the hell would I do? And I think I'd pass out. My first instinct, I think I would also just call 911. I understand she's like was blackout drunk, but she knows from the start she's innocent. So, I mean, there's no reason not to call 911, and also you're in a foreign country, which I get is like super scary. I could not even imagine like being in her shoes, especially on a layover when you have to be at work in like a couple hours. I could not imagine picking up the phone and being like, crew scheduling, I'm at a hotel and there's someone dead in the room. I'm gonna be a little bit late to work today. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? My airline would have a heart attack. I don't know what I would do in that situation, but I don't think I would try to clean up the crime scene because that is just like super incriminating. All right, so she just missed the shuttle to the airport. That definitely does happen as a flight attendant. It's never a good thing when you miss the shuttle because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to pay for your own transportation and find your own way to the airport. And if you're late to the airport, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. And I know that she's working an international flight in this movie, so I could only imagine the amount of trouble you're gonna get, not only for delaying a normal flight, but delaying an international flight. I'm gonna pray for you, girl. Now she's on the bus with another airline. I don't really know how that is gonna work because sometimes we do take shuttles with other airlines and other crew members, but you're never usually the one flight attendant and like 20 other flight attendants from another airline. The equivalent of that in real life would be like me riding the Emirates shuttle bus. Not only do I not think they would let me on, I mean, maybe if they were feeling nice and they could tell I was an actual crew member, they would let me on, but that would just be a very uncomfortable situation. I think it'd be cool to like talk to them and stuff, but you would definitely be the outsider, and she's having a full-on panic attack on this bus, so they're definitely looking at this girl like, holy, you're crazy. What is wrong with this girl? Why is she a flight attendant? Is she even okay to go to the airport right now? Not only did she miss her bus this morning, and now she's on our bus having a full-on panic attack. They have to be thinking like, what is wrong with this girl? Okay, she's in the lab now having a full-on mental breakdown. We have definitely all been there. Maybe not to her degree, but the lab is one of the only places on the plane you can escape for a minute, have a moment to yourself. There's 200 plus other people on an enclosed space with you. Even though the lab can be super gross, sometimes it is like your only moment of peace, a moment of silence. I don't really think a lot of people are like screaming in the mirror like she is. I think it's really funny though, and I think honestly that's what we want to do sometimes. Like, you've gotta fucking calm down, like, to yourself in the mirror. But that doesn't usually happen, at least not with me. Maybe if you're a flight attendant, you can comment down below about that. But I don't know many flight attendants who are like screaming at themselves in the bathroom mirror. She's just having a full-on mental breakdown, which I totally get. But also, I think if I was in her situation, I would have just like called scheduling and been like, this is what's going on. This flight is going nowhere, unfortunately. She does need to pull it together, because if she starts acting like that in front of the passengers and the other flight attendants, they're definitely gonna know something's up, and they could definitely like make one phone call and be like, this girl's losing her mind, pull her off this trip right now, we need to land, kick her off, and be done. Okay, so they're taxiing to the gate right now, and they're pretty much all up and walking about the cabin. This will rarely ever happen. You probably will never see this unless there's some sort of emergency, a medical emergency, attending to a passenger need that is like critical. Most of the time, flight attendants will never be walking the cabin while you're taxiing to the gate just after landing, because until you reach that gate, you are still in an active taxiway. There are multiple planes coming in and out, driving around. There's also like ramp drivers and trucks, in tugs, in like the pool carts or whatever. Anything could happen. You could bump into another plane could bump into you, there could be a plane taking off. Honestly, anything could happen. The safest place to be while you're moving on a plane on the ground is strapped into your seat as a passenger with your seatbelt on, as a flight attendant in your jump seat. Most of the time, you're never gonna see a flight attendant just walking around like that. Okay, they're walking into the hotel now with a group, which is totally normal. That's one of my favorite moments after you get off the plane, is just walking into the hotel, because you know you can crawl right into bed. And also, a lot of people will stare at you when you come in, especially in a group like this, just because a lot of people aren't expecting to see like a whole group of flight attendants at their hotel. They're like, what are you guys doing here? Like, aren't you supposed to be on the plane? But that's definitely realistic, and they're checking in and getting their rooms, making plans to go out to dinner, which is like totally realistic. I feel like a lot of plans come together as soon as you get to the hotel. We have our own sign-in sheet or whatever, and that's usually where all the plans get made. Like, hey, we're gonna meet down here at 5 o'clock for dinner. Hey, we're gonna go have drinks at 10. That's kind of like the central meeting point. Ugh, not her going to the pilot's room. Rookie mistake, Kaley. Rookie mistake. Ugh, but if he's cute, so I can't blame you, girl. She just found out that she lost her ID. This could go one of two ways. Usually, as a flight attendant, you're definitely gonna have your ID on you at all times, and I don't think that she would have left Bangkok and went all the way to South Korea without her ID. The only justification I have for this is obviously she needed her passport to leave the country, so she just used that. But as a flight attendant, we are required to have multiple forms of identification. In my opinion, I think she would have noticed that she left her ID in Bangkok before she left the airport, but like I said, maybe she just used her passport as her only form of ID. We may never know. Oh boy, the lead flight attendant just asked her and the rest of the crew to wait behind and talk to the FBI about the murder of the passenger on their flight, and I know she's just like shaking in her boots right now. She is probably so scared. This usually, I mean, I've never been in a situation, and knock on wood, I never have to be in a situation like that, but the only time the cops are ever gonna be like waiting at the gate is if you have an issue with a passenger on your flight. I feel like anytime they wanna follow up with you about something that may have happened, they just call you, but this is a lot different. This isn't just like, oh, you spilled a drink on someone, or oh, someone had a complaint on your flight. Like, this is talking about like someone on your flight was murdered, so I can definitely understand why the FBI would be waiting there for her. But now, girl, you're making yourself look really bad. She's like fleeing from the gate and trying to run out of the airport. I don't think that would happen in real life, and if it did, the crew would probably just like throw you under the bus. At that point, somebody's murdered, you're running away from the FBI, put 2 and 2 together, and here's your answer. I would be like, well, she was talking to him on the plane, and now she doesn't want to talk to the FBI, and she's running away, so she's the one you want to look for, not us. So that's definitely not a good look. I also think probably your in-flight supervisor would be waiting for you there. Maybe someone from the union, I don't really know. If your airline even has a union. She definitely should not have ran away like that. Okay, her crew has started to rat her out a little bit. They're talking about she took care of him, they were flirting, they were talking on the plane. Crew tends to take care of each other a lot, but in this situation, you have to be as honest as possible, so I can definitely understand why her other crew members are like tattling on her, for lack of a better word, but she's probably looking so guilty right now. Okay, she's being questioned by the FBI now, and she actually did just ask if she should have union representation, and the FBI agent fires back and was like,
Do you think you need union representation?
I don't know in this situation. I mean, I would think that you would want your union rep there, but if you're innocent, you have nothing to hide at the same time. I guess it's just one of those things where maybe you'd feel more comfortable with someone from your union being there. I don't know. Oh, poor girl. Oh boy, so she just found out that somebody else was with them on the night he got murdered, but she's trying to remember who it is. And then it cuts to the credits. So we don't find out anymore in this episode, but thankfully a lot more episodes are now online. If you head over to HBO Max, or if you have HBO Max on your TV, you can definitely go check it out. If you've seen the series already, let me know down in the comments what you think. If you think it's realistic, if you have any questions for me, like, Hunter, is this really what it's like? Or, you know what I mean? Like, if you have any questions about it. Let's go to my opinion now. There is a lot of definitely real moments so far in episode 1. We have many more episodes to go, so I think there's gonna be a lot more stuff I could react to and talk about with this series. But right off the bat in episode 1, a lot of stuff obviously is dramatized. It's TV, it's gonna be dramatized, so some of the stuff you see would probably never happen in real life, but there's definitely some moments that I'm like, oh yeah, like, that's me, like, that's my crew members, or like, that totally happens a lot. So there is definitely some truth to this series. I'm really excited to watch the rest of it. I'm probably gonna start episode 2 here now, but I just wanted to sit down here and give you my thoughts and my reaction to some of the stuff I've seen in HBO Max's new series, The Flight Attendant, which is now out. So make sure to go check it out, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 9.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the